It's been 5 years since I've made one of these on video, so I thought that we could start 2026 with an updated, refreshed how-to on how to create the necessary clutch wallet by Emmeline bags. Now, several years ago, I was making these all the time, and so I needed to condense the pattern to make it more conducive to batch sewing and for cork specifically. And so I've made a couple of adjustments to the pattern pieces itself. So when you purchase the pattern, you get this large oval section, and this is the main body panel. And then you also get the flap. Now, generally these are cut separately, but I wanted them to be one full piece. So what I've done is when I print out the flap piece, I added a 1/4 inch to the bottom to create an area that overlaps the main body panel, and I taped that into place. I did go ahead and I punched out the hole for the magnetic snap on both the main panel and the flap itself. And then I realized that getting consistent results with these turns here, these curves, sometimes can prove a bit difficult, especially when you cut using a rotary blade. So I did this to it where I added a second flap option, and I just did it on the opposite side here, and I did it to where it was angled, and this makes for a much easier and quicker cutting for me personally, and I really like the look of it. If you've been following me for any time, you know that I always nip my corners and I make angled cuts, so this seemed very fitting for me to add to this pattern. You can see here that I also have a cutout box. This is where I mark where my tag goes, and I made it large enough to fit any iteration of tag. I have gone through a whole gamut of options since I cut this piece out several years ago. Now I'm in the phase of using my metal tags here. So usually I just mark if I want it closer to the bottom or to the top, what have you. If you are laser engraving or adding a cork tag that you sew on. Anyways, I find that adding the tag box opening here has been really helpful, especially when I was making these prolifically and constant. All right, so over here I have all of my materials selected, and I figured I would just walk you through the way that I cut the pattern. So let's go for it. First, I'm just gonna cut the fabric because it's right here and ready. Now, the client wanted olive for the exterior, aqua for the interior, and so I wanted to find a zipper pocket lining that would pull on both of those color options, and I think I nailed it pretty well with this here. And so you can get all of the measurements in the pattern. I will link that down below. And I'm just going to cut out, this will be the interior of my zipper pocket. Now, if you want to, you can make 2 zipper pockets in this pattern. You don't need to have it at just one. The opposite edge of the zipper pocket panel is just begging for a second zipper pocket, but that adds on to the cost of the overall project. So it's just something to consider if you're making these to sell. So I just have both of these guys here, and then I want to cut out, some interfacing. Now, I just tend to use Decaville Light for everything. You can use whatever you want, whatever provides the structure that you're after, go for that. I'm just going to cut out Decaville Light for both of my lining panels. Okay, so my linings are cut and ready to go. They're off to the side. And before I put my Decaville Light away, I do want to use it to cut out a section for the flap. Now, over the years, I have found that with the flap specifically, with the excessive use of it opening and closing constantly throughout the day, this tends to wear a lot quicker and it'll show the hardware. So I like to cut a piece of interfacing that covers the entirety of the flap, and it feeds down into the main body panel just a little bit. So it's been so long since I've made one of these. I'm just going to refresh my memory on the measurements that I need. And then I'm just going to cut a piece of Decaville Light and then angle it so that it matches the flap. So after I cut out the main blank piece, what I'll do is I'll lay it on top of my pattern piece here. And I want about 1/8 of an inch to 1/4 of an inch gap around all of the sides. And then I'm going to just mark where my angles start and end. like that, and then I will just use my rotary blade to connect those lines. Okay, now that we have that done, we can get to cutting out the cork. I'm going to cut out the exterior first. I'm going to do that just by laying my pattern piece onto my cork. Now, the biggest thing with this pattern is obviously it takes up a lot of material here, and that is probably the worst part about this pattern. Everything else is fantastic, but using up this much of the cork, it uses a lot of cork. So it can be an expensive make, but it is well worth the investment. Okay, so if you're more comfortable with tracing, you can go ahead and do that, but basically you just want to cut out one full piece for your main panel exterior. I will be using my rotary blade, but right here in these corners, it's rather challenging to get that nice corner hard edge there. So I do like to at least transfer that drawing line. So that way, once I get close to it and I have to move my pattern piece, I know where it's at. Now I do like to take a ruler and I will line it up. I'll take one straight edge and line it up here so that way I know my measurement is correct. And then I will line it up on one of my straight lines on my ruler, and I will also align my edges just to make sure that everything is nice and straight, especially because this pattern piece itself is so beat up after years and years of use. And so I'll just cut these straight edges like so. And then I will come back and cut these angles at the top, excuse me. So I know that I can never get close enough to nip into my corners here without accidentally overcutting with the rotary blade. So this is exactly why I marked those little corners. All right, so now we need to just transfer and cut our angled edges here. And so again, you can trace and cut with scissors or just line up a straight edge of your ruler along the edge of the pattern piece and cut. Now before I remove the pattern piece, I do want to mark my magnetic snap holes. The flap snap will go through both the interior and the exterior main panel. However, this section here down at the bottom, this is where the flap will fold over the outside of the wallet to close it. Now this one gets installed only through the exterior. So we definitely want to make sure that we are transferring that mark there. Now, if you're making this and you find that you want a tighter close on the wallet, you're going to move the marking down toward the center of the pattern. And if you want a looser fit, then you're going to move it up toward the top. You can also use a twist lock or any manner of closure on this wallet. It is very conducive to any type of closure and it looks quite nice, specifically with the twist lock, if I say so myself. So using the exterior piece, I'm going to lay that wrong side down on top of this aqua and use this to cut out my aqua piece. Now, something that I want to do just to ensure that there's no slipping around or moving, so I'm going to take a piece of tape, or you can use glue, and I'm going to put a strip right down the center here, just so that way it doesn't shift and move around whenever I'm cutting out the aqua cork below it. Now, if you want to, you can rough cut, and then after we sew, you go back and do the detail cut, which I find is really helpful. And it works great, so that way you don't have to be so meticulous and ensuring that your edges are nice and lined up. You can stitch it and then trim it, which I'll show you how to do all that later on. All right, so next up we need to cut out the interior credit card slots. And I cut that as one big piece. So the width by the height, I'm going to use my big ruler here. And so I pulled these measurements directly from the pattern. And this ruler from Lauren is really perfect for this. So there's one. And two. We will create the credit card slots through a series of folds later on in the construction process out of both of these, and then they will get attached at the bottom. But then we will need to cover the backing up. So we need to cut out the credit card slot back piece. And a lot of times I like to wait on this because sometimes when you're creating a series of folds into two panels and then you're adding them together, things don't always work out exactly as planned. Measurements can kind of shift a little bit here and there, especially when you're using materials that are a little bit thick. It creates a different depth and width of things, and things just tend to move around. So what I like to do is after I create my series of folds, then I take that and I lay it on top of my other cork, and then I will use that to create the backing piece. So I will show you that later on in the construction process. It's a very similar process to this. It just helps to ensure that we get two pieces that actually fit well together. And instead of trying to have them pre-cut and make them fit and not have room for adjustments, we're just going to wait and make our lives a little bit easier. So we'll cut out the card slot backing piece later on when we're actually making that section. All right, so now we need to cut out the zipper pocket panel piece. Now you can do 2 zippers, you can do no zippers, and then it will just be a divider pocket, or you can do the 1 zipper like I'm going to show you in this video. But I kind of want to talk about it for 1 second here so that you can understand. And it's a little bit challenging because I don't have the completed wallet. So if this gets confusing, don't worry. In the construction section of the video, I will explain it in detail and it will make a lot more sense. But I just wanted to give you a little bit of rhyme or reason for the rhyme with my cutting. Now I made an adjustment to this measurement, and that is so that later on in the wallet construction phase, whenever we are folding the edges up and over to create this folded look of the wallet, it creates a little bit more space to fold these side edges in farther and cinch them. And then when the wallet is completed, the goal is that our edges meet up nicely and we don't have these middle sections hanging out. So there is a reason that I changed this measurement. You're just going to have to trust me. So for my zipper pocket panels, I'm going to cut 2 pieces that are 7.5 inches by 7.5 inches. So these 2 pieces here will create the middle interior divider pocket. And then the fabric pieces that we cut earlier are going to be used on the inside as well, so that when you unzip, you're looking into this really pretty lining. Okay, so the last thing that you need to decide is if you want a wristlet strap or a crossbody strap or no strap at all. If you want a wristlet strap, I like to cut mine 14 inches long. That is a nice comfortable length so that you can slide it on and off and it not be like super tight on your wrist, but you can really make that length whatever you want. I also like mine to be a 1/2 inch, and I do a tri-fold style on mine. So for a wristlet strap, I cut mine 14 inches long by 1.5 inches wide. Now for this particular client, she wants a crossbody strap, so I'm omitting the wristlet strap totally, and I'm going to create a crossbody. She wants it a 1/2 inch wide, so I'm again going to do that tri-fold style. So I need to cut mine 1.5 inches wide to begin with, and then through a series of folds, I will create that 1/2 inch wide strap. On a crossbody strap, you can make it any length that you desire. If it's for you, then take a soft measuring tape and measure around your shoulder and see exactly the length that you want it. Now, my general rule for crossbody straps is 55 inches long when I'm making for the general public. And I'm going to have to piece my cork together because I don't have enough width to cut it as one piece. So I'm going to cut 2 strips from the selvage edge of my cork piece. So I'm going to cut mine. You're going to see me cut 3 inches wide so that I can piece them together at 1.5 to create the full length strap that I'm after. All right, final thing that we need to cut is the zipper tab ends. Now these are the ends that are going to cover up the raw edge of the zipper to create a nice finished edge on there. And so you can make this as wide as you want. Now keep in mind, I mentioned earlier that the width of the wallet is 8 inches. So you don't want your zipper tabs to be ginormous, because if so, then you're gonna have less entry area for getting in and out of the zipper pocket. So I find that having your zip tabs about 1 1/4 to 1 1/2 inches wide gives enough leg room to cover the raw edge and to be riveted on the side without it being a challenge at any point. So I'm going to cut mine. You want to cut it the width of your zipper tape, so 1 1/4 by 1 1/2, and I'm cutting 2, so I just cut 1 1/4 by 3, and then I'm going to cut it down. So our 2 zip tabs will go on top of our zipper tape like so, and it'll leave us with a 5-inch opening to access the inside of our zipper pouch. All right, last thing that we need to do to prepare our necessary clutch wallet for construction is just add all of our interfacing in the correct spots. So that is going to be on the back of our lining and then on the flap section. You can put the interfacing on the interior or the exterior of the flap. It's totally up to you. There isn't a preference. Okay, so for this guy, because I cut out my shape on what is my exterior, just going to place this there, because otherwise it'll be a little bit hard to figure out the placement on that edge. So I'm just going to place it just like so, and then iron this in place. Now, if you wanted to, you could certainly interface the entire piece of cork and it will give the necessary clutch wallet a lot of structure. I do want to point out that if you do that specifically with cork, it is going to make the folding of the sides a little bit more challenging. And so if you find that you want more structure in the body of the wallet without the added bulk, then I would suggest just doing a piece that goes the entire length right through here. So 8 inches or 7 3/4 inches wide by the height of this section here. And then this will not be interfaced, and it'll make it a lot easier to fold around our edges later on in the process. All right, so let's chat hardware real quick. I am doing matte black hardware, so I've gone ahead and pulled everything that I need. For my closure, I'm doing a double cap rivet snap, so I have both the magnet parts as well as the caps right here. I am using my matte black metal tag that will go on the exterior back. And then I have my strap hardware right here. I am going to be doing a 1/2 inch, so I have 1/2 inch clasps and a 1/2 inch slide. If you want to do a different width, that's totally fine. You'll just cut the width that you desire for your strap and then use the coordinating hardware for that. To attach it to my wallet, I'm going to use 2 of these mini D-rings here. Now, I do sell these on my website, but they are readily available all over the internet. But if you want a direct link, check the description box. And then for my zipper, I'm just doing black on black, number 5. You can definitely do number 3 here. It might even sit a little bit nicer if you decide to go for a smaller coil, but I just didn't have matte black in number 3, or else I probably would have opted for it, truthfully. And then I have a number 5 zipper pull. This is a Duchess zipper pull, and I just love the design of that. So now that everything is cut and ready to go, click through to the next video for the full construction.